The house was filled with excitement that evening. Sophia was running around the living room, fixing her hair, checking her designer dress, and making sure her kids looked perfect. "Emma, honey, don't touch your dress. Tonight is a big night," Sophia said. Daniel was adjusting his tie in front of the mirror. "Tonight's charity gala is going to be huge," he said proudly. "Everyone important will be there." In the corner of the house, Evelyn Carter quietly smiled. She wore a simple blue dress, fixed her hair neatly, and picked up a small handbag. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She just wanted to enjoy the evening. When Sophia saw her walking downstairs, her smile disappeared. "Wait. Mom, are you getting ready too?" Evelyn looked surprised. "Yes, sweetheart. I received an invitation too." Sophia laughed awkwardly. "An invitation? From where?" Evelyn calmly replied, "From the same event." Sophia looked at Daniel, then back at Evelyn. "Mom, maybe you misunderstood." Evelyn frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" Sophia lowered her voice. "Look, this party is for important people. People who know how to behave in public." Evelyn stayed silent. Sophia continued. "I'm sorry, but you shouldn't come with us." The room became quiet. Daniel looked uncomfortable but said nothing. Evelyn simply asked, "Why?" Sophia sighed. "Because you don't always speak the way people expect. You might say something embarrassing and people will judge our family." Those words hurt. But Evelyn didn't argue. She just smiled softly. "Don't worry, Sophia. I wasn't planning to go with you anyway." Sophia looked confused. "Really?" Evelyn picked up her handbag. "Yes. I have my own invitation." Sophia laughed. "Mom, come on. Don't pretend." Evelyn looked at her calmly. "If you want, you and your family can come with me." Sophia rolled her eyes. "Nice joke." And she walked away. But she had no idea. The woman she was making fun of was about to become the most respected person in the entire room. Sophia, Daniel, and the kids arrived at the grand charity gala. The place was glowing with beautiful lights, expensive cars, and hundreds of successful people walking around. Sophia smiled proudly. "This is our world," she whispered to Daniel. "People like us belong here." Daniel nodded, but he still felt a little guilty about what happened with his mother. "Maybe we should have invited Mom," he said quietly. Sophia immediately replied. "Daniel, please. I was just protecting our family's image." She fixed her dress and walked inside. "Tonight is about making connections," she said. As they entered the main hall, everyone looked excited. Sophia recognized many wealthy guests and started greeting them. But suddenly, the room became silent. People started turning their heads toward the entrance. A woman wearing an elegant but simple black dress walked in. Sophia looked over. Her eyes widened. "Wait, is that?" It was Evelyn. But she looked completely different. Not like the quiet mother-in-law who cooked meals at home. Not like the woman Sophia thought was ordinary. Evelyn walked confidently as several important guests immediately surrounded her. "Mrs. Carter. We are so honored you came. It's been a long time. Your company changed so many lives. Everyone has been waiting to hear your speech." Sophia froze. "Company?" She looked at Daniel. "What are they talking about?" Daniel was just as confused. A famous businessman walked toward Evelyn and shook her hand. "Everyone knows Carter Enterprises. Without your leadership, this charity wouldn't exist." Sophia's face turned pale. "Carter Enterprises." She whispered the words. She suddenly remembered all those times Evelyn wore simple clothes, cooked at home, and never talked about money. She thought she was just an old woman living a quiet life. But the truth was completely different. Evelyn was a successful entrepreneur who had built a multi-million-dollar company. The host stepped onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are honored to have our special guest, the founder of Carter Enterprises, Mrs. Evelyn Carter. The entire hall filled with applause. Sophia stood there speechless. The same woman she had mocked, the same woman she said would embarrass her, was now the most respected person in the room. Then Evelyn looked toward Sophia, Daniel, and the kids. She smiled. Tonight, I would like to introduce my family. Sophia became nervous. She didn't know what Evelyn was going to say. Would she tell everyone how she treated her? Would she expose her? Everyone waited. Evelyn took the microphone. The entire hall became quiet. Everyone was looking at Evelyn as she stood on the stage with the microphone in her hand. Sophia's heart was beating fast. She thought, is she going to tell everyone what I said to her? She looked at Daniel. Daniel, I think we should leave. But Daniel shook his head. No. Let's listen. Evelyn smiled warmly at the crowd. Tonight is not just about business or success, she began. It is about the people who stood beside me during my journey. Then she looked toward her family. My son, Daniel, is one of the greatest blessings of my life. Daniel smiled with pride. And this is my daughter-in-law, Sophia, and my beautiful grandchildren, Emma and Noah. The crowd applauded. Sophia was shocked. She expected anger. She expected embarrassment. But Evelyn introduced her with love. Sophia whispered, "Why is she doing this?" Evelyn continued. Family is not about being perfect. Family is about learning, growing, and respecting each other. Those words touched everyone. Then Evelyn turned toward Sophia. Sophia, come here, sweetheart. Sophia slowly walked onto the stage. Her face was full of shame. Evelyn hugged her in front of everyone. I want my family to know one thing, Evelyn said. A person's value is not decided by their clothes, their age, or how simple they look. Everyone listened carefully. Sometimes the quietest person in the room has the biggest story. Sophia lowered her eyes. She remembered how she laughed at Evelyn's simple dress. How she told her she would embarrass the family. Tears started forming in her eyes. After the event, Sophia finally found courage. Mom, can I talk to you? Evelyn nodded. They walked to a quiet corner. Sophia took a deep breath. I owe you an apology. Evelyn stayed silent. I judged you because of how you looked. I thought you weren't good enough to stand beside us. Her voice broke. But tonight I realized. I was the one who didn't understand your worth. Evelyn looked at her kindly. Sophia, respect should never depend on someone's money or status. A person deserves respect because they are human. Sophia wiped her tears. I'm really sorry. Evelyn smiled. I accept your apology. But remember one thing, never make someone feel small just because you don't know their story. Sophia nodded. For the first time, she truly saw her mother-in-law differently. But the biggest surprise of the night was still waiting. Because Evelyn had one more announcement to make, the charity gala was almost over, but the guests were still talking about Evelyn Carter. Everyone respected her. Everyone wanted to shake her hand. But inside, Sophia was feeling different emotions. She felt embarrassed. Not because Evelyn was successful, but because she realized how badly she had judged someone who never hurt her. As they were leaving, Evelyn stopped Daniel. Son, there is something I need to tell you. Daniel looked surprised. Mom, is everything okay? Evelyn smiled. Yes. Actually, I have been waiting for the right moment. She looked at Sophia and the kids. For years, I kept my life simple because I wanted to know who people truly were. Sophia became quiet. What do you mean? Evelyn took a deep breath. When my husband passed away, I could have lived a luxurious life. I had money, success, and everything people dream about. Daniel looked confused. Then why did you always live so simply? Evelyn smiled. Because I didn't want people to love me because of my bank account. Everyone became silent. I wanted to know if people would respect me when I had nothing expensive to show. Sophia felt a deep pain in her heart. She remembered every time she ignored Evelyn. Every time she thought she was just an old woman who needed help. Evelyn continued. Money can buy a big house, expensive clothes, and fancy cars, but it cannot buy kindness or a good heart. Daniel looked down. Mom. I'm sorry. Evelyn touched his hand. Son, I don't blame you. Sometimes people stay silent because they don't want conflict. Then she looked at Sophia. But silence does not mean weakness. Sophia nodded with tears. You were never weak, Mom. I was wrong. Evelyn smiled. I know you made a mistake. What matters is whether you learn from it. Then Evelyn opened her handbag and took out a small envelope. Daniel looked surprised. What is that? Evelyn smiled. Something I planned long ago. Sophia became curious. Inside the envelope was a document. Daniel read it carefully. His eyes widened. Mom, this can't be true. What is it? Sophia asked. Daniel looked at her. Mom has created a foundation to help young families and elderly people who are treated unfairly. Everyone became quiet. Evelyn said, my biggest success was never my company. It was helping people. Sophia looked at Evelyn with new respect. But then Evelyn said something that nobody expected. However, there is one condition before I help my own family. Everyone looked shocked, everyone looked at Evelyn with surprise. Daniel held the document in his hands. Mom, what condition are you talking about? Evelyn looked at her family calmly. My condition is simple. She paused for a moment. Before anyone receives help from me, they must learn to respect people who cannot give them anything in return. The words hit Sophia deeply. She knew exactly what Evelyn meant. Evelyn continued. I don't care about expensive clothes, big houses, or social status. Those things can disappear overnight. She looked around the room. But kindness, respect, and character, those are the things that show a person's true worth. Sophia lowered her head. She remembered the way she had stopped Evelyn from going to the party. She remembered saying, you will embarrass us. Those words suddenly felt heavier than ever. After they returned home, Sophia quietly entered Evelyn's room. Mom? Evelyn looked up from her book. Yes, sweetheart? Sophia sat beside her. I have been thinking about everything. Evelyn smiled gently. I hope you have. Sophia took a deep breath. I was so focused on how people saw me that I forgot to see you. Evelyn stayed quiet. Sophia continued. I thought your simple clothes meant you were less important. I thought your quiet personality meant you had nothing to say. Her eyes filled with tears. But I was wrong. Evelyn held her hand. Everyone makes mistakes, Sophia. Sophia shook her head. No, Mom. This wasn't just a mistake. I judged you without knowing your story. For the first time, Sophia truly apologized. Not because Evelyn was rich. Not because she was powerful. But because she finally understood her heart. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. Sophia started visiting Evelyn more often. She asked about her business journey. She listened to stories about Evelyn's struggles, failures, and sacrifices. One day, Sophia asked, Mom, why didn't you ever tell us you were this successful? Evelyn smiled. Because I wanted my family to love Evelyn, not the woman behind Carter Enterprises. Sophia nodded. She finally understood. But then one evening, Daniel received a phone call that changed everything. His face became serious. Mom, there is a problem with the company. Everyone looked worried. Evelyn remained calm. Don't worry. Every storm teaches us something. But this time, Evelyn needed her family more than ever. The next morning, the atmosphere in the Carter house was different. Daniel was sitting at the kitchen table, looking worried. Evelyn walked in and noticed immediately. Daniel, what happened? He looked at his mother. Mom, one of the biggest investors pulled out of the company. There are rumors spreading, and people are starting to panic. Sophia, who was making coffee, heard everything. A few months ago, she would have only worried about her reputation. But something inside her had changed. She looked at Evelyn. Mom, what can we do? Evelyn smiled slightly. The old Sophia would have asked, how will this affect us? But this Sophia asked, how can we help? Daniel explained. The company needs to show people that we are still strong. We need trust back. Sophia thought for a moment. Then she said, why don't we share your real story? Evelyn looked surprised. My story? Yes, Sophia replied. People don't just trust companies. They trust people. They should know the woman behind this company. Evelyn smiled. That's a good idea. For the next few days, Sophia worked beside Evelyn. She helped organize interviews, charity events, and meetings. She saw a side of Evelyn she had never noticed before. She saw how Evelyn stayed late helping employees. How she remembered every worker's name. How she donated quietly without seeking attention. One evening, Sophia said, Mom, I finally understand something. Evelyn looked at her. What? Sophia smiled sadly. I thought success meant having expensive things and impressing people. She paused. But you taught me that real success is how many people are grateful that you existed. Evelyn's eyes became emotional. You have learned the most important lesson. A few weeks later, the company crisis ended. The investors returned. The public supported Carter Enterprises again. At a celebration event, Daniel held the microphone. I want to thank the person who saved not only our company, but our family. Everyone looked at Evelyn. But Evelyn shook her head. No. She pointed toward Sophia. Tonight, I want everyone to thank Sophia. Sophia looked shocked. Me? Evelyn nodded. She made a mistake by judging me. But she had the courage to admit it, change, and stand beside me. The crowd applauded. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. She finally realized. A person's biggest achievement is not being perfect. It is having the courage to become better. But just when everything seemed peaceful, Evelyn received a letter that brought back a painful memory from her past. The letter arrived on a quiet Sunday morning. Evelyn was sitting in her garden, enjoying her coffee, when the mail arrived. She opened the envelope slowly. As soon as she read the first few lines, her expression changed. Sophia noticed. Mom, is everything okay? Evelyn folded the letter and smiled. Yes, sweetheart. It's just a memory from my past. Daniel looked concerned. What kind of memory? Evelyn took a deep breath. 30 years ago, when I started my first business, I had nothing. No money, no connections, and no one believed in me. Everyone listened carefully. I remember going to meetings wearing the same old dress because I couldn't afford new clothes. She smiled. People looked at me and thought I wasn't important. Sophia's eyes filled with emotion. Because those words sounded exactly like what she had done to Evelyn. But I never let people's opinions decide my worth, Evelyn continued. I worked hard, stayed kind, and never forgot where I came from. Daniel held his mother's hand. Mom, you are amazing. Evelyn smiled. No, Daniel. I'm just someone who learned an important lesson. She looked at Sophia. Never judge a person by what you see today. You don't know the battles they fought yesterday. Sophia hugged her. I promise I will never look down on anyone again. Years later, the Carter family became known not only for their success, but for their kindness. Sophia became actively involved in Evelyn's foundation, helping elderly people who felt forgotten by their own families. She often told people, I once made the mistake of judging someone by her appearance. I almost lost the chance to know one of the most incredible women in my life. Evelyn watched her family grow closer. She never wanted revenge. She never wanted to prove she was better. She only wanted one thing: to be respected and loved for who she truly was. And the biggest lesson everyone learned was: never underestimate the quiet person in the room. Their silence may hide a lifetime of strength, wisdom, and success.